I'm Kirsty Prowse here at Sidmouth Donkey Sanctuary to interview James Chubb, who organises events and activities here. Today I will be talking to Mr. Chubb about the bats that reside here and how they benefit the donkey's welfare. I have asked James to show us around the Hermitage.
My name's James Chubb and I'm the Events and Activities Manager at the Donkey Sanctuary in Sidmouth. So this is the hearth that we found the bat droppings in, and the bats are somewhere up here behind this chimney breast, hanging by their back legs, and the bats in question are lesser horseshoe bats, and so they are about the size of a plum, tiny little thing really, and they'll be, well, by the looks of all the droppings being on this right hand side, they're hanging somewhere up here and just mooching the day out before then coming down, using this area as an antechamber before then flying on further to feed through the night.
Could you give us a brief overview of the Hermitage?
Yeah, the Hermitage is this weird old structure behind me, and it's actually not as old as it looks. It's pretending to be an ancient structure. It's actually an old modified lime kiln that was created as a bit of a sort of garden curiosity by the owner of the main farmhouse in 1820s.
And how did you come across the bats that are living here?
Whilst doing some environmental surveys for a grant scheme, we surveyed inside the Hermitage and found bat droppings on the hearth of one of the chimneys in here, and we were able to identify the species of bat in question as being lesser horseshoe bats, which are pretty rare.
Is there anything you have to do for the extra welfare of the bats at all around the area?
Not around here so much, no. I mean, really it's just a case of accommodating them and knowing that they're here. The biggest element of management work that goes on for the bats in the woodland is to retain all the deadwood that we can, whereas once our policy might have been to drag it out and neaten it and tidy it all up and make it safe. We now are very mindful to retain as much deadwood as possible because that's a really important roosting and food source for the bats.
And what purpose do the bats serve on the farm here?
Well, I mean, their primary purpose is an indicator of excellent environmental conditions and brilliant habitat, but there is a connection with good bat populations and the health and happiness of the donkeys that are here at the sanctuary, and that's that the bats eat a huge number of nocturnal flies, something like 3,000 a night. A small bat will chomp its way through, and so of course the more bats we have here feeding, the fewer flies we'll have bothering the donkeys.
And with the bats being heavily protected by conservation laws, what issues does that raise for you and your day-to-day work here?
Negatively, not much at all. It's a real positive asset to have the bats here because it opens up a lot more opportunity for us to fundraise against the conservation objectives of looking after the bats. It means mainly looking after this building and making sure it doesn't tumble down, but also making sure the woodlands are of a good quality for the bats as well.
And with Halloween coming up soon, are you having any special events going on with the bats?
We've got some wildlife walks that will go on through the Halloween half-term period, and we've got a spider day in our annual Halloween extravaganza, so the bats will definitely feature in the programme of events, that's for sure.